Be careful what you wish for. Well, today, we're diving into an ancient story that perfectly illustrates this. A classic fable about a little bee with a big, and frankly, quite dangerous idea. Our story begins in a beautiful garden, buzzing with life among all the creatures. There was one particularly proud bee. She wasn't just any bee. She was the queen's favorite honeymaker. One day, she flew all the way up to Mount Olympus to present her finest creation, a jar of golden, delicious honey, as a gift to Jupiter, the king of all the gods. Jupiter was delighted. The honey was exquisite, the best he had ever tasted. "My dear little bee," he boomed, his voice like gentle thunder, "your gift is wonderful. In return, I will grant you any single wish your heart desires. Ask for anything, and it shall be yours." The bee buzzed with excitement. This was her chance. But instead of wishing for more flowers or a bigger hive, a darker thought crept into her mind. She thought about all the times humans and other animals had come to steal her precious honey. She wanted a way to protect her work, a way to make them pay. So she looked at Jupiter and said, "Oh, great Jupiter, thank you for your kindness. My wish is simple. Please, give me a stinger, a weapon so powerful that if anyone ever tries to take my honey, I can sting them and they will die instantly." A shadow crossed Jupiter's face. He was deeply disappointed by the bee's spiteful wish. He loved the human race and couldn't grant a request that would bring them so much harm. But a promise is a promise. "Your wish is granted," he said, his voice now stern and heavy. "You will have your stinger, but there will be a condition. If you ever use it to sting someone, the stinger will remain in the wound, and in losing it, you will also lose your own life." And so, the bee got her weapon, but at a terrible price. She learned a hard lesson that day. When we wish harm upon others, that harm often comes back to hurt us the most. It's a powerful reminder to always choose kindness over revenge. What do you think of the bee's wish? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more classic stories.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in, and welcome to the very first stream for Crushing on Candy. Welcome in to everyone that's watching the replay. You just watched the story of Jupiter and the bee. In that fable, which is an Aesop's fable, the bee asked for a weapon to hurt others, and it ended up costing him his own life. Like Aesop said, evil brings evil in return. So we're going to be reviewing a couple of videos tonight, and I think that everything is going to kind of tie in. I know it's a late show, but I figured since I was up, I should go ahead and jump in there and try to see how this thing is going to work for all of us. Before we get into the videos, I do want to put on this really quick disclaimer if you guys don't mind watching with me. Thank you so much.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Crushing on Candy. Before we dive into today's topic, I want to quickly talk about how we use content on this channel. You'll see video clips and other media in our segments, and I want to be clear about why they're here. We operate under the fair use provision of copyright law. This means we use these materials for specific purposes like criticism, social commentary, news reporting, and education. Our goal isn't just to show you clips, it's to provide context for our original commentary and what we call our logic checks. We are creating something new and transformative with them. We always respect the original creators, and all rights belong to them. This approach allows us to have these important conversations. Thanks for understanding, and let's get into the video.
All right, everybody. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that the groundhog is predicting another 6 weeks of winter for us with all this snow and ice that everybody done got. I know that most of everybody is about tired of that shit and is ready for the spring to roll around so that we can get back into our shorts and tank tops. Let's check this video out real quick.
Use a forecast. It is my job this February 2 to look to the skies and report back to you that there is a shadow here on my ground. 6 more weeks of winter abound.
Yeah, he chose violence and said it was going to be 6 more weeks. And because of that, you go through TikTok, you can see there's several people trying to cook his little ass up because they just don't appreciate that at all. Hold on a minute, y'all. Look at this one too. Hold on 1 second. That's crazy. It's really, really crazy that I was sitting on my front porch just this past summer talking about how I was figuring that it was going to be a horrible winter. And I think that I spoke that thing into existence. I'm sorry, y'all. I just want to double back. That first video, that was from CNN. I didn't take down the content creator of the next two. I'm going to have to work on that in the upcoming videos because I want to give everybody their props for their videos that we're showing. Y'all charge it to my head, not my heart. I'm new. Let's check this next one out.
So, bueno. So I tell my little friend, Boo, I said, look here, man, I got this calendar I made. February the 2nd, see here, right here? Now spring is March 21st. So here's 2 calendars, two sheets. And I said, if you count from February the 2nd, or as they said, 6 more weeks of winter, from February the 2nd to March 21st is 6 weeks. Right. The groundhog ain't got nothing. I've been doing that all my life, man.
Shout out to Dick Gregory. Rest in peace, man. He was the truth. He said, ain't no groundhog telling me shit. You count up 6 weeks and it gets you to the date that he's saying that you was going to make it to anyway. I loved him. Rest in peace. All right, we're going to be moving on to our next video. I can't pronounce his name. I'm going to put it in the actual notes. He's basically talking about the Kennedy Center and how the kennedykcenter.org domain was purchased. And they added Nazi or something or another to it. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull this video up. Hold on 1 second.
Couldn't even get into the pedophile parties. Melania is such a loser. Her movie made no fucking money, and they had to pull it from theaters. And Donald Trump is such a loser pedophile that they had to shut down the Trump Kennedy Center. They say that was for renovations, but if you didn't know this already, the TrumpKennedyCenter.org website domain was purchased before Trump merged the two entities and has dedicated it to showcasing that Trump is a pedophile. So, renovations? Probably not. Probably that, right? And it's not just them. They are all fucking losers who are going to lose. I know everything's horrible right now, but I hope this gives you just a little bit more hope. And y'all know stuff like this is getting shadow banned on this app as well as all the other apps, so do me a favor, like, repost, share with a friend, comment your thoughts, and follow me for more like this. Because it's almost over, y'all.
Shout out to Melania Trump and her, what is it, a documentary? Says the highest grossing documentary ever, grossing 7 million. They don't want to mention that it costed 70 million to make. I mean, these people are damn ridiculous. With regards to the actual Kennedy Center, this is all of it is kind of tracking back to our fable here. You know, the evil brings evil in return. You're doing shit out of spite. And, you know, this Kennedy Center was established by Congress as a memorial to JFK. So people are filing lawsuits pretty much arguing that a president can't simply rename a memorial through a board vote. It requires an actual act of Congress. Meanwhile, you have slapped your name on a building that is a memorial. A memorial is, you know what? Let's move on. Let's move on. All right. On to the next thing. Well, actually, bear with me one moment. I need to start putting these names in the comments so that, and these are all videos from TikTok, you guys. So that is the screen name, of the last video that we watched. Now we are moving on to talk about the Clintons testifying about their roles in the Epstein files. This next video is coming from BBC News.
Former President Bill Clinton and his wife, the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, have now agreed to testify in front of the US House Oversight Committee as it leads its investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. It follows the Clintons' past refusal to appear in front of the committee when they called subpoenas issued by the committee's Republican chairman invalid. The Clintons' agreement to testify comes days before the House was expected to vote to hold them in criminal contempt of Congress.
So from what I was able to see, as of February 2nd, 2026, they agreed to testify under what seems to have been the threat of criminal contempt. Even though I think this is going to screw them, I can't help but think how bad this is going to be for Trump as well. The Clinton's team stated that they are looking forward to setting a precedent that applies to everyone. And I'm guessing that this is going to also mean our current commander in chief. Like, everybody is in trouble. Everybody is in the files. I feel like all of them need to go to damn jail. They need to, like, shut all of this shit down and start over from scratch. I mean, I want to take the time for us to go over the files, especially, what was it, Sasha Riley? I'd like to play those tapes, at least of his, like, live here on live, so that we can go over it together and, like, do some commentary. But it seems to me like this has been one big cover up that's been going on for years and years and years and years. And then you see how they kind of put stuff out and dangle it in your face, like through predictive programming, like through movies and stuff like that, where they show you a little bit of it, but it's like kind of like a sleight of hand. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say, but basically we all know that this was going on because they've been showing it to us. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like the proof is coming out, and it's just mind-boggling to everybody. Let's check this next video out.
In Congress just screwed over Donald Trump big time, as their move to force the Clintons to testify is about to backfire beautifully. Now, if you missed it a few weeks ago, Congress subpoenaed both Bill and Hillary Clinton to come in and testify regarding the Epstein files. Well, at first the Clintons refused, saying Congress didn't have the power, and of course Congress threatened to hold them in contempt. Well, now the Clintons are reversing and saying, yes, they will come in and testify. And why? Because they waited long enough for more files to come out. And since they refused to now, Donald Trump's name is all over them with very serious allegations. Congress is about to make a spectacle of the files, and Donald Trump's name is now at the center of them. Now, it should be noted that nobody has been found guilty, or there is no proof that there's been any crime committed by any of these parties. But definitely, in the court of public opinion, Republicans in Congress screwed up, and they are now going to put Donald Trump front and center, because you better believe the Clintons are coming prepared to talk about him.
And see, that's crazy. You know how Trump always has all these different people's names in his mouth in some kind of way. And it's like I said, the evil that you try to put out there to other people, it turns right around and comes right back on you. Again, the craziest part of evil brings evil in return is that sometimes the person who is asking for the sting is the one who gets poked. So Trump's allies wanted this testimony to hurt, again, the Clintons. But in doing so, they've destroyed the only legal shield that Trump had to keep himself from being subpoenaed in the future. They wanted to open the box on the Clintons, but you're bringing everybody else in, including the person. I'm guessing that it's Trump that y'all are trying to protect, or are y'all just trying to drag him because he's no longer any good to y'all? It's just, again, this has been the craziest thing that I have seen in anybody. Like, I've asked several different people that are 20 and 30 years my senior, like, have y'all ever experienced this kind of craziness in your lifetime? And everybody is answering the same way. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Should not surprise you, and the reason is that America was built on human trafficking. When the labor of white indentured servants ran out, and then they tried to enslave indigenous peoples and that didn't work, they started importing human beings, abusing those human beings and getting them to work for free, exploiting their labor for every last drop, and then using the suffering of black people as a form of entertainment. There were public events that families would attend where black people were hung. And then guess what happened? Well, the plantation families had kids, and those white kids grew up to hate black people and to hate other minorities and to learn to abuse other human beings because that's just their lifestyle. Now, a lot of people that we have in American government are descendants of slave owners and have come from very wealthy families that earned their money through unethical means. What we are seeing in our government today is the legacy of these people and the descendants of these people. So of course they are the same level of cruel. There is no excuse for it, and it's absolutely sickening, which is why people are like, we need to just fucking start over. We need to literally completely reinvent the system because it's fundamentally broken and disgusting and reprehensible. This is why you shouldn't be surprised by the Epstein file.
All right, you guys, that was Kylie Brewer. That's going to be the last video for tonight. I'm putting her name also in the chat so that you guys can look her up. She's on TikTok as well as Instagram. And she does really, really great in explaining how history being ignored is causing us to repeat it. Basically, she's saying, and her saying that the Epstein files are not new, she's basically saying that America is basically built on human trafficking. She's talking about how this scandal is not just an isolated glitch in the system, but a larger part of what has been a long-standing pattern in American history. Again, the historical foundation of human trafficking in the U.S. traces back to an economy that was originally built on forced labor. or slavery, for lack of a better word. Kylie is saying that because the foundations of this country's wealth involved exploiting people, a system was created where powerful men, like the ones mentioned in those files, feel entitled to control and traffic others without consequence. So, what she's saying is Epstein files aren't new because the behavior is not new. Basically, I don't mean no harm, and I don't like white men have been showing their ass since the inception. So she's saying that when you build a house on a bad foundation, you should not be surprised when the walls start to rot. That's the ultimate version of evil bringing evil in return. If we as a society look the other way because someone is rich or famous, that evil is eventually going to come back and sting us all. And that is exactly what's happening. We are all being bit in the ass because that is what has been happening over the course of several years. And now the house of cards is coming tumbling down. Y'all stay safe and stay smart. Thank you all for tuning in on the replay. Anybody that comes and listens, if you can just throw me a like, comment, tell me that you loved it, that you hated it, just say something. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again.